Well, why would I need to be pushing a wheelchair if I could walk?
That's the difference between unconditional love and being forced to suffer through something that you don't have to see. Why can't I just see the best of you? Why do I got to see you and wipe and see you wiping your ass just because you want me to know every single thing that you do? No. If I don't have to see that, why do I have to see that? Why can't I just get the best of you?
I don't know. That's.
Y'all don't understand what I'm saying?
I got to ponder
I
on that
don't,
one.
I don't,
That
I don't want to
sounds
see
a
no. I
little.
don't want to see no boo boo. I don't want to
Y'all
see.
don't understand what I'm
I don't want
saying?
to hear you
No, I
farting.
don't.
You
Okay,
know,
let me see if I can explain it differently. Unconditional love is that I will never leave you and abandon you. And if anything ever happens, I will always be there for you, no matter what. I'm going to be your biggest supporter, and I'm never going to let you fall. However, if we that's almost like why do I only have to have one car if I can afford two? If I can afford two cars and you can have your own car and I can have on my own car, why can't we have two cars and then we can ride together if we go into the same place? But if I need to go somewhere and you need to go somewhere, we don't always have to ride together. You don't have to drop me off at work. I can drive my own car.
that's not the same.
It's
That's
the
not the same as
exact same
no,
scenario.
it's
It's the
not.
exact same analogy
It is
when it
not.
comes. Yes, it is. It's the
Mm-mm.
exact same analogy.
No,
If
it's not.
you listen, if you have your space to spread out and you could, you know what I'm saying, use the restroom and do what you want to do and get yourself together and have your freedom and dance the way you want to dance. Why the fuck I have to listen to your music when I can listen to my own music? I can get dressed. I can do what I need to do. You ain't got to smell me. You ain't got to see. You only get the best of me because we have the capacity to be able to do so. It's the same thing.
What is this bathroom thing? Like, I don't.
I'm
Why?
using that as an example.
I gotta go with your example though. Like, what? So then, with your example, then if somebody has to now use the bathroom, should they go to their house? Like, do you leave?
Keri, you being
No,
intentionally,
that's not
you're
fair.
being
That's not
intentionally
no,
difficult
Anton.
right
It's
now.
not fair that no, you're using rather like weird examples. So
I
I'm
don't
trying.
because when you dating somebody, you make sure that your stomach is empty before you even go on a date. To know that you ain't gonna be putting it, you ain't gonna be doing all of that shit. You put on you listen before you ever spend a night over that man's house. You put your best behavior on. You know, and you prepare yourself the best way possible so that you can make the best impression and you don't embarrass yourself when you go and spend the night over his house with
That's
that
true.
overnight bag. However, when you live with a person, you don't give a fuck. You just and it's not that you're trying not to give a fuck, but that's just the natural state of things. And so people genuinely just be a little bit more relaxed. They don't be on their game. They don't present themselves the best. And so why wouldn't you put yourself in the best? It's funny because when people date people, they get the best of that person, and then the person that you wind up marrying, that's the person that you get the worst of. What I'm saying is, why wouldn't you? Why would I subject myself to the worst of you just for the sake of saying that I could subject myself to the worst of you?
What I'm not understanding is why living together equals you subjecting yourself to the worst of them.
Because you
Like,
do.
I don't under to me, if you're in a real relationship with somebody, you're going to see all different sides of them. Live together or not,
You
give it
do.
enough time, you will see it. So I'm just
I'm
to
gonna
me,
see all the sides of you anyway, but I prefer to see the best of you.
we all do, but I'm just saying, like, you're making it sound like, so if you don't live together, then you'll only see the best in a person, and I just think that that's not it.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, why won't I put myself in the best position possible to see the best of you if I have the option to do so? That's why. See, all right, now we're gonna really deep dive into it. This is exactly
He pulled his
When
sleeve
we
up.
don't
I tried
agree.
to be nice. I tried to be nice. This is why motherfuckers be dating or having chicks on the side because he see the best of her, and then he come home to the fucking worst of you. This is why guys often at times have different people in different places because when he get there, this is why women, all right, we'll take it a step further. This is why women prefer to date married men. This is why women prefer, and this is something that's not talked about on a regular basis. This is why women prefer to be the side chick, because she get the best of him and then he got to go fucking home.
I'm so confused.
That's a fact.
Y'all not confused. Y'all just don't want to accept reality. This is why some women prefer to be the side chick. And this is why also, but let me stop. I'm telling you. This is why women a lot of times will be in a relationship say, you don't take me out no more. We don't date anymore. They say stuff like that.
Together. So that's because they live together.
Yes.
Okay. That's
there are some women that prefer, they don't want single men. They want, the most desired men on earth are married men. It is not single guys. Single guys don't have they don't have an edge on guys that are married. Not even a little bit. Guys that are married are shooting down women all day long, and they not even trying. They not even thinking about these hoes. They not even contemplating, especially if you got some motion, especially if you got some money. Men that are married are the most desirable people on the face of the earth. And it is an unspoken about conversation that is not being had, and that there are women everywhere that prefer to be the side chick or be in a relationship with a guy that already is in a relationship that got resources, because in their mind, that is the best circumstance to be in.
What does that have to do with what we were just talking about, though?
Because if women took the same type of mentality of women that were operating in that mindset, then they would prefer to be in a situation where the man has his own, she has her own, and she would get the best of him, and then there would be no need for all of this side chick stuff.
But I thought you just said
women. You said what?
No, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you.
It's a mindset thing. It puts you in a mindset that you're still dating. Guys prefer to be around women that present themselves the best at all times. But if you're forced to subject yourself to the worst of a person just because they want to subject you, because it's just going to be unconditional, then that's what starts to breed contempt and animosity. Have y'all ever thought about why sometimes I know y'all have heard this before. Have y'all ever heard that people say something like married women can learn something from side chicks?
Yeah, I've heard that.
It's the reason why they say that shit.
Because what side chicks know how to play, they know how to play their part.
What, and why? And the main chick or the wife doesn't know how to play her part. Like, where are we going with this? This is like,
y'all can reject it, or you can accept the reality of it.
Let me ask y'all this then. Okay, what is a single man and a single woman who, like, what should they take away from this conversation before they get into a marriage or a relationship? Because
that you always need to put yourself in a mindset that you're always dating. And what does that look like, and what does that translate into in your everyday movements, in your everyday lives, and how it is that you operate? If you're not in a mindset that you're always dating, then you will start to get complacent, and you will not live the best life possible. You will not have the best circumstance possible. So if you confine yourself, I believe that the people of yesteryear lied to us. All of their lives was fucked up, but they stayed together for the kids. And then they lied to their children about what reality was, and they never told them about the shit that they dealt with. Reality is that we need to create the best circumstances possible for us to thrive. We do it in corporate America. We do it in our jobs. We try to figure out how to put people in the best position to thrive. Hey, do you need ergonomic chair? Do you need to work in an environment that's hybrid? Are you better working off from home? Do you like to travel? what is the best environment to keep people in the office? Oh, okay. So we're going to create this space. We're going to create this space. We're going to create this space. But I think that relationships and marriages and households are largely places that we never innovate in, even though times change, technology change, options change, opportunity change, availability change. We don't think differently. We don't have I like to call it a UX mindset when it comes to relationships. And so we apply old principles to new relationships and expect for them to thrive.
So
It's
then,
not going to work. It's
so
not going to work. And that's why it's so difficult for people to stay married. That's why it's so difficult for people to understand relationships. I understand relationships because I am a traditional person that also embrace the new ways of thinking in order to make sure that I keep things fresh, that I keep things dope, that I keep things new. And so I apply the lessons and the principles learned from the past and I apply it to my circumstances now. And that's what allows for me to thrive. We continue to innovate. We don't stay the same. It's almost like, I don't know.
so then help me understand this, because you also say that you're single until you're married, but
Correct.
you just said that you should always be dating, and you said that you
As though
shouldn't
you're
live
single. As though you're single.
and you shouldn't live with the person you marry. So what does it really mean
That's
to
not
be
what I
married?
said. I said
You
that if you
you
have
said you
children
had
and
to.
you're building together, then it's conducive for the family and you're limiting the amount of money that you have to give over
No,
on the
you said in general. When we forced you to answer
Correct.
in general, your in general thing was live separately.
Correct. I think that that's best
So
for
then
people that, again, and that's why I said in the beginning when y'all was trying to overtalk me, I said, let me add the context. If you are a family and you have small children, it is best to live together because you're not doing it for y'all, you're doing it for the children. And I also said that traditionally marriage was for people, especially when you were younger, to build together, meaning that you eliminated, you save resources, and you all lived in one house so you can continue to build wealth together. If you do not have small children, and again, I think that people can do what they want to do. If you don't have small children, and if you are not trying to build together and you get into a certain space financially and you can afford it comfortably, I think that it is ideal to always have a dating mindset. And that may translate into he needs his own space instead of just having that fucking man cave in the basement, and she needs her own space. And it creates a much more conducive relationship.
Okay, so we went back to how Slimmy and I started with answering the question, like, do what works best for you.
But here's the problem in the conversation, Keri. I don't think that you're open-minded enough to evaluate what really is best for the relationship because you speaking from how you feel versus I guarantee you that any man that is watching this right now that is married, he would love 1000% to be able to have his own place. He may not tell you, he may not be honest with it because he know that y'all not going to accept it and y'all going to feel some type of way about it, but he would love to have his own place and have a dating mindset if y'all don't have small kids.
But that's what I'm saying. Every time you put in the if, you're giving the circumstances of that specific example, which is that's kind of what I was saying in the beginning. And I think what Slimmy was saying as well. Like, if this, then that. So if you don't have kids, if you were married at an older age, or if you already have your own place, or if you have money, then do it that way. If this, then do it that way. But you forced us to answer one way or the other. And now you get to bring in all of the different examples.
No, I said that what
Yes,
do you
Anton.
think is best considering that if somebody is if somebody forces me, my answer is it's better to live separate. Then you start adding the context. What I asked y'all to do is pick one or the other so that we can have the conversation. I'm picking B. Y'all all picked A, right? And then the context is this is the reason why I'm saying this makes the most sense. You didn't want to pick either, and the only thing that you wanted to say was, well, I think that people should do whatever is best for them.
See, don't do that to my answer because that's not how I said that. I said,
how did you say it,
I said that you do what's best for you and that person because everybody has a different situation. You
That's
and
what I
that
just
person.
said. You said, Keri.
No, but you made my do what's best for you into Keri just won't answer. That's not true. I gave my
So
answer.
your answer was do whatever makes sense for you and your person.
Yeah, because
That's
Anton,
not answering,
that
Keri.
is
That's literally
exactly
what I
what
just said. You said.
Anton, that's exactly what you said. It's just you got to give all these different scenarios because we couldn't stop you. You stopped our scenarios.
No, we started to deep dive into the conversation by going down the rabbit hole after I said my answer.
We tried to go down the rabbit hole, but you wouldn't let
You're
us.
not
But
limited
you
in your
took us
rabbit
down.
hole. Go down your rabbit hole. Okay,
No,
so Keri, no. Let's go down your rabbit hole. So, what do you feel is best, Keri?
no, I already answered that. So what I'm
But
saying
I
is
want to
like,
get your rabbit hole answer. I want to get the
well,
context.
well, no. So so once you went back and when I asked you, I said, okay, so Anton, you said that you should always be if you're not married, you're still dating. I'm
Mhm,
sorry, you're single if you're not married. And then you said,
mhm.
but you should always be dating. And then you
You
said,
should
but if you're
always be in the
married,
mindset that you're dating. Correct. I said
right.
that.
But then you said if you're married, you shouldn't be living you shouldn't have to live, you shouldn't live together. So I said, so then what is it
Well,
to
first I
be
said
married?
there is
And
no
then
wrong answer.
but
First I said there's
then
no wrong answer.
but
And then I said if you are married, for me, you should not live together. That is correct.
well, no, what you then did is you gave more context for you said no. I said if you're married and you don't have little kids together and you're not trying to build together or you
Nope,
already
that's
built
not what I
together,
said. What I
that is
first
what you
said
just
what I
said.
first said was that I disagreed with all three of you, and y'all said, "Oh, so you going with option C?" And I said, "No, I'm going with option B because all three of you guys said that it is better to live together." And I said that I didn't say that.
No, you're recapping further back. I'm talking about what you just
So the
said.
further back part don't matter.
The further back part is not what I'm talking about now because
Okay.
the part I'm talking about now is you started to give more context to your reason for saying that you should live apart. You said
Correct.
no, right, but the way that we started was you should do what's best for you because the context is going to be different for this couple versus that couple. But
Correct. That's why I said that there is no
so
wrong
we
answer.
right, so we essentially were saying something similar to you, but you forced us to give a yes or no.
What were you saying that was similar to me, Keri?
What we were saying similar to you is if this makes sense for y'all, do it that way. And your to me, what
Mhm.
you did, you gave an example of this makes sense for this scenario. So if I
Correct.
so
Keri, there is
to me
no
you can
wrong
take
answer. No. Your problem is that you keep trying to make it seem like there's a right or wrong answer. There is no right or wrong answer. What you spoke to was what makes sense for you, right?
no. What I'm saying, all I'm saying is, Anton, we're kind of saying the same thing that you are, in my opinion, are now
No, you're
saying.
not saying the same thing that I'm saying.
To me, you are. If you take what Slimmy and I both said, do what's best for you, right? Do what makes sense. And somebody was like, I don't get that. Give me an example. I might say, okay, let me give you an example. You and your spouse, you've already raised your kids. You have enough money to have multiple places. You're on your grind. You're doing your stuff. Your spouse is doing her stuff. It makes sense for you guys to live in two separate places. So to me, that's taking Slimmy and I's answer and matching it to your example. We're saying the same things.
Wait. Slimmy didn't say that.
Slimmy did say that. He said, do what makes most sense for you. Do what works
Yeah,
for
that
you.
was the first thing I said.
Okay, listen. Saying do what makes sense for you or do what works for you is a non-answer. That just prefaces the conversation by saying that there is no wrong answer for whatever it is that you choose makes sense for you. That is like, it doesn't matter by saying do what makes sense for you. That's just saying, hey, listen, let's just have the conversation. Okay.
That's not, I would disagree that that's a non-answer because you could say, no, when you're married, live together no matter what. So that might not necessarily be do what's best for the two of you.
Saying to people on an individual basis, because that goes without saying, do what makes sense for you is a non-answer because it doesn't add any value into the conversation.
Well, you can now ask for context, in which case you would ask
Okay, so
for
what's the context?
Well, I used your example just now, but earlier I used like this couple's example.
We all preface the conversation by saying, do what's best for you, Keri. We all preface the conversation by saying the same thing before we gave our answer.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Do you think
No, did we not?
You
said it, Slimmy said it, I said it. I don't know if Quentin said it, but we all said, do what makes sense for you before we gave our answer. Did we not?
No,
Yeah.
No, he didn't. He came in and said, I disagree with all of you.
Hey, no. I ain't gonna lie. Everybody said you gotta do what's best for you. I think even Quentin said that. I'm not sure. I'm not 1,000% sure. You didn't say that, Quentin? Okay, so I was wrong. So then all three of us said do what's best for you. All three of us did.
At a point he said that, but Anton's first thing, because Quentin was like, well, what's the other option? The first thing he said was,
Quentin is the only person that said, no, y'all crazy as hell. People need to live together and we need to smell each other's shit. And then I said, Quentin, that's bullshit because you have the option to be with somebody and you choose not to. That's what happened.
That was didn't we talk about that before you asked us all the question though?
No, that was when
Didn't
Quentin answered the
we
question.
talk about your choice of living with somebody before we got to the question of should people live together or not?
That was a part of Quentin's answer, and then that's when I said, "No, Quentin, that's bullshit because you are single by choice."
Yeah.
Okay, I have to go back and run the tape.
But it still is the same.
You gotta do about it book. Let her do about it book.
But it still is. Okay, what I'm trying to understand is what don't you like about my answer?
I don't dislike anything about your answer. I was just saying I think that we're on more of the same page than not. Now that you gave
okay, how are we on the same? Okay, so how are we on the same page?
Because the more that you talked, it seemed like that was less of your overarching philosophy and more of what you think should happen in this type of a scenario. In which case, I agree. Like when you broke down the scenario and said, if you raised your kids and this, that, and the third, then I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Works for y'all. Cool. But to me,
no. I'm not. Listen, Keri. This is where we
not my scenario. That was his scenario.
Exactly. That is exactly my point. I'm not looking for agreement for what works for me and my opinion and what my situation is. What I'm asking, and I gave context to why I believe what I believe. What I'm asking you is, why do you believe what you believe and what do you believe? So if you say, hey, anybody can do what they want to do and what works for you, but for me, I prefer to live together, I'm going to ask you why. Now, there's no wrong answer as to why you believe that, but I want to know your context. You can't say, well, we both believe the same thing when we believe something fundamentally different. And your context and your reasoning might be different. You don't believe the way that I believe when it comes to this circumstance or this question. You can't say that we have similar answers if you believe completely opposite, but just because you say anybody can do what they want to do, that we more closely align. No, we don't. Yes, of course, anybody can do what they want to do, but your fundamental reasons and what you think makes the most sense for a couple is way different than mine. How are we similar if you believe that people should live together and I don't? Your reasoning might be different. My context might be different. But how do we fundamentally believe the same thing outside of the fact that anybody can do what they want to do?
That's not, you're now going deeper. I'm sure that there are things that we fundamentally disagree on in terms of relationship. That's not what I'm talking about.
What do you believe, Keri? What do you believe?
Oh, God.
Outside of people can do what they want to do.
What? Huh?
What do you believe is the best circumstance for a relationship? Should people live together or should people not live together?
I stand on you. It's whatever makes sense for you and that person is what y'all should do. That's what I believe. You forced me to give one answer or the other, and then you got to come in and have all these different scenarios.
So
and
your answer is, so your
No,
answer is, wait. So your answer is do whatever you want to do.
it's do what makes sense for you and your spouse.
Okay. So your answer is do what makes sense for you and your spouse.
Yeah,
That's your answer.
that's my answer. You know why?
So you don't
Because
have a preference. That's just your answer.
I can give you a preference if you give me a scenario, but you forced me to give a one answer or the other. So I went with the one. Like for me right now, where I am, for me, it would be, yeah, you should live together. And here's the different reasons. And I get,
So
and I
why
gave,
not just say
hold on,
that?
Anton, I did say that when you forced me, and I said,
You said it without me forcing
Anton,
you right now.
Anton, my answer is also based off of the assumption that if you're married, you either are gonna have children or you have children. So for me, since you forced me to give one or the other, I gave the scenario that resonates most with me currently, that resonates with me now, right? You what?
I'm listening. I'm just listening.
You, in my opinion, you came in, you said, I agree with Keri with her first example, and then you said, but you disagree. And to me, you changed it based off of the example that you started to go into, which was you don't have kids or your kids are already raised. Like you started to give a scenario.
That's
And
called context.
that I agree with you. I agree that's context. You did not let us answer based off of context. You forced us to answer.
No, usually what happens is, listen. This is how usually answers work. People give an answer and then they add the context and say, this is why I agree with this part of what you said, and I disagree with this part of what you said, and this is what I believe, and this is the context behind why I'm saying what I'm saying. But you always have to give an answer before you give context. If I ask somebody a question and I say, hey man, you know, what type of house or what kind of living situation do you like? And they say, well, you know, listen, I'm asking you to give an answer and then give context. If you say, well, you know what, listen, for me personally, I prefer to live in a city, and then here's the context. If I got this and this situation going on, or if I got this and this situation going on, whatever, so on and so forth. But if somebody just gives a non-answer just to be safe, to not be able to answer and say, well, you know what, if I ask, hold on. If I say, hey man, what kind of living situation that you think is ideal for you? And they say, well, you know what? I think that for people, they should be able to live wherever it is that they want to live. Well, that goes without saying. Like that, of course, people can live where they want to live, and there is no wrong answer. It doesn't matter if you want to live in the suburbs. It don't matter if you want to live in a city. It don't matter if you want to live in a large city. If you want to go and live in Wyoming, there is no wrong answer. But I still want to know what your preference is. I don't want to know if people can just do whatever it is that they want to do, because that's literally applicable to any situation. Anybody can listen. If I say, what is your party drink? And you say, well, you know what? I think that anybody can drink anything they want to drink when they want to drink it. I get that. Like, I understand that. However, I want to know what's your party drink. And you say, well, I don't like drinks at all. Okay, well, then that's an answer. And why don't you like drinks? Then you start giving me the context and say, well, my dad was a drunk and all of this. Okay, cool. Now I understand why you're saying what you're saying. That's the context. That's the substance behind your answer. But for somebody to just say, well, anybody can do whatever they want to do, that's literally a non-answer, because that goes without saying.
Anton, please don't do that. I know how to answer a question. You asked a question. I gave my answer. I could have given you context to why I said, at the end of the day, I think that a married couple should do what makes sense for them. I could have given context, but what you did was you said, no, Keri, you got to answer one way or the other. You cut my context off and forced me to answer A or B. And you forced, and Slimmy came in and did the same thing. And you said, no, Slimmy, it's A or B. And then you came in and said, I disagree with all of y'all. That's why we're like,
wait. I said I disagree with all of y'all, and I pick what?
Can I finish?
Wait, hold on. I disagree with all of y'all, and then I picked what?
Anton, you picked C. You picked A, B.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't, Keri. And you know that that's a lie. I didn't. Hold on. Wait. Let's stop. Let's stop right now. Let's stop right now. Quentin, you've been just observing objectively. Did I pick C? Quentin, honest to God.
You picked B with context.
Thank you. I did not pick C. Y'all tried to say, no. You going with C? I said, no, I'm going with B because y'all said live together. I said not live together. And then I gave my reasons. I did not pick C. I did not pick C, Keri.
Okay,
you know that's cap.
That's not cap. That's not. Can we watch Anton? You gave different answers for different types of scenarios. You said if you have little kids, stay in the same house. If you don't, be in a different house. That you pick A.
Angry Man might be in
B,
the back.
You pick C.
Angry Man ain't in the back. Oh. I could drop the link for you, Angry Man, if you want to come up. Is Angry Man here?
Yeah, he here.
Okay. No, let that nigga stay in the chat.
I gotta go get my food though, man. I gotta get my food, man.
You got it dip permanently?
Yeah.
You got it dip permanently. That's cool.
Yeah, I gotta go get my food.
What kind of gum are you chewing, Slimmy?
I don't know. That nigga chewing hard though. Shit.
It's bubble gum.
We can tell, nigga.
That's not like Orbit.
It's bubble gum.
You look like he pulling
like real bubble gum, real throwback bubble gum. I found it at this store. I was like, yeah, man, I remember this big chew.
Slimmy always getting some snacks.
Yeah.
Diabetes.
All right, y'all. I'll see y'all.
All right, Slimmy.
Y'all be easy.
I
be
have
safe.
to go soon too because
Merry Christmas.
I have more gifts after wrap.
Nah, hold on, Keri. I just need to know this.
I don't have to go nowhere. I was early. I come early and I stay late.
So, Keri,
that's what she said.
And I'm gonna let you go, Keri. I know you got to get to your family and stuff.
Don't get me started, Keri. You better back
so,
up.
So, Keri. So, you're saying that your answer is that people can do what they want to do.
No.
Or people should do whatever is best for them.
People obviously can. I think that people should do what makes the most sense between the two of them. I think, and what I'm really saying with that is that needs to clearly be something that's figured out. So figure it out between the two of you. Look at your whole
That is literally a non-answer.
That's not a non-answer. That's not a non-answer because I understand that all couples are not the same. All couples don't get together at the same stages of their life as other people. All couples have, like, there's so many variables that to me it's more important that you're able to figure out what works for you and your spouse more so than taking a strong stance one way or the other. Don't live together. Do live together. Do what makes the most sense for y'all to have a good relationship. Boom, that's it. Now, if somebody were like, okay, well, if this were the scenario, what do you think in this particular, situation? Then I can give my opinion on that type of a scenario or situation. But in general, I think that what I said is more important to follow.
No, it's just being safe.
Okay.
It's just being safe. You're just being safe.
I'll be safe. Label me safe. I'm fine with that.
Well, it was a phenomenal conversation. So great context. But see, now y'all can't say that it's not people that push back against me because they always do it almost every show.